Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyle here with another Exos Heroes video. And in today's video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 heroes in Exos Heroes. So before we begin, if we can get a like on this video, that'd be dope. So let's get into it. First thing I want to start off with is the new additions to this list. Since I've done this, I haven't done this in a bit. So first one is going to be Shell, specifically FC Shell. And after getting to use her for a bit, I think she's awesome. I think and this is coming from a person that doesn't have FC Janai, so I'm not even getting that synergy. And I think even without it, she's still very good. The things that I've been using her for is just being able to reset either reset Rara or Bathory has been awesome, and getting that extra damage up. She goes decently fast. She has good stats, like for her health, so she's pretty tanky. I like that she's one of the characters when it comes to unleash potential. She's going to be giving this 30% damage reduction on AoE moves. So that's one of the things I wanted to say about this effect here, that it looks like it's 30% reduction, but it's reduces damage against all allies. So it's worded weird, but it reduces damage against all allies, as in like moves that do damage to all allies, by 30%. And then there's the other one for block characters and I believe command characters as well that does 15% reduction, and that's for all damage. So just keep that in mind. But then she also has so much more to her kit if I actually had Janai synergy here, which would be awesome. So she has and then right here, this Night Carnival increases critical hit of allies by 100%. And then she has all this charm synergy here where it afflicts charm enemy with Puppet Show mark. If an enemy marked with Puppet Show dies, reduce block of all enemies by 25%. So I believe that's one of the only ways, if not the only way, to remove block from characters. Then she has this decrease attack of all enemies afflicted with charm by 50%. That's something that is awesome, but I still think she's a good character, even with never being able to take advantage of that portion. And then if any of the targets are already charmed, removes barrier from all charmed targets and afflicts nullified barrier for 10 turns, and then reduces hit by 30 for 4 turns by affecting the target with hallucinate mark if the target is charmed. So this whole move gets so much better if you have FC Janai, or if you just want to use Janai maybe on like tag team or something like that, or maybe some PvE content where you're not actually using FC Janai. But FC Janai just makes her so much better, so it's kind of a no-brainer if you have the FC version. Amazing character, easily makes this list, I think, really good. Then the other character that is new on the list that makes it, and I haven't had as much time with this character, but if you watch the video where I ended up pulling for her and using her, I think she's definitely performing as expected, if not better. Go through phase 4 of the dragon, everyone survives like easily all the way through in completing phase 4. So I think she's incredibly good for PvE, significant amount of survivability. One thing about her though is that she needs to actually land her moves. If you can resist the move, or if you're damage immune to a particular type, then her usefulness significantly goes down. It's not like she just has a few passives that are always going to be good, even if she's not doing damage. Like Tantalo comes to mind. Still very good character. This mark here is absolutely insane. And then in the situation of the dragon, this mark didn't even get applied. This damage reduction mark didn't even get applied. And people have tested it. So afflicts all enemies except the target with Prophecy of Decline mark. If a target marked with Prophecy of Decline attacks you, reduces damage received by 50%. So that reduction is not just for a few turns. That's for like the entire round, which is crazy. The only thing that she's slow, but once that's applied, it's going to happen and it's going to be stuck there for the round pretty much. This character mainly is just a PvE god. I haven't really tried her in PvP too much. When it opens back up, I'll definitely try it out if once I get kind of higher. I don't want to really just... It's been hard for me to test PvP. I need to climb back up because essentially just rare one-shots everyone. So it's like I don't feel like it's really good testing. But once I can actually get up there, I'll give her a shot and see if she's actually good. I do like that she's a Greenland character. So like I've built a lot of Greenland characters like in Tantalo, Bathory, and Rara. So for me personally, I like that. So that as my signature force goes higher in Greenland, she's going to get more and more useful. I think she doesn't have any synergy that relies on characters kind of like FC Shell, how a lot of her synergy relies on having Janai. She doesn't really have that. So she could be splashed in with other factions, I think, pretty easily. So very good character. Definitely worth pulling for. At this moment, you can still pull for her unless you're saving for someone else, like saving for general free to play. I always think saving for good general characters, especially fake core versions of a general character, is always better. But if you can and you don't think it's going to risk something else potentially, I think she's definitely worth pulling for. Well, you have the option. Okay. And then now that we got those characters out of the way, I want to talk about the characters that benefited the most from Unleashed Potential. And I think the characters that make this list are characters that can apply bind, and specifically AoE bind. And so those two characters that I'm thinking of are Dorka and Rara. Rara, if you want to be able to apply it initially, you're going to need to pair her with someone like FC Annie to give her enough mana to where she can do it on first turn. But I've been using that combo a ton, and I think it's very impactful. If you, I get the question of what bind is a lot of the time. What it does is once it's applied, they can't gain mana, so they just go. And if usually they need their turn to gain enough mana to actually do something, whereas they won't gain that. That's what bind does. So being able to apply an AoE unremovable bind with the Unleashed Potential is crazy. So FC Rara easily makes this list. FC Bathory, Dorka, those characters are going to make this list. I just want to talk about the characters that are changed by this Unleashed Potential, because Unleashed Potential didn't exist in this capacity when I made my last top 10 list. And you got this. I just wanted to show it really quick on the A1 and the A2. So Unleashed Potential effect afflicts the target with bind for 2 turns. When the attack hits, can't be removed. Very good ability that these kind of characters have, these focus fire characters have, if you actually use all your Unleashed Potential and upgrade that last move of it. Okay. And Dorka has it as well. Reasonable. So FC Rara, just really good synergy, high damage, fastest character in the game, has status immunity, just has been the best or one of the best ever since her release. And I don't think that's going to change for quite a while. And FC Bathory, incredible character. No point in rehashing that. I think she is very good when it comes to benefiting from Unleashed Potential in the sense that just the raw stats. I tried maxing this. I think she's going to, when it comes to Unleashed Potential specifically, I think you're really going to want to have this mana utilization part of it. And then once people are starting to take their main characters and have all of it maxed, I think there can be some use here, but I'm finding, especially with this one on the attack side, where it's just her A1 is going to give her a reset, it doesn't really do anything. All she does is she does it, and then she gets to auto one more time. So it's not really useful in my opinion. I think it could be more useful when you have the combination of the stamina and the defense going at having all of it maxed, because then what you'll be able to do is maybe you have Shell, give her the extra turn, she ults, then she guaranteed to have 0 mana, then so she resets, then she gains mana, I believe. I believe how that's how the mechanics will work. Then she'll be able to AoE again with her A1 here. I wonder if she'll be able to double reset there, like 1 time per round if mana is under 3 when the skill hits. So I wonder if these are counted as separate moves. Regardless, even if that doesn't work that way, just being able to actually gain the mana as she's going, I think is going to make this significantly more impactful. I think Bathory's gotten significantly better with Signature Force for Greenland characters, because Rara goes AoEs and then it removes the Iris debuff, Iris protection on Frost moves. So I think that she can go straight into her big AoE move off the rip and does a ton of damage. She's gotten significantly better because of that change when it comes, if you have Signature Force for Greenland faction. So they're still up there as one of the best characters. Iris is still one of the best characters of the game. I think I've been seeing people take her out, but most of the time I think I saw that she's obviously incredible, super good for every phase of the game. The only thing that I think I specifically take her out for is Dragon, just because you're forced to use your A1 and forced to use your A2. So her giving you extra mana doesn't really do much. When you can actually control the character, she's incredible. And especially in PvP, when people have like Dragonblood characters, the shields, that makes a massive difference. And it's easy to forget just how impactful these characters are, especially with a couple stacks going their way, and then they just become these unkillable gods. So having Iris is very good. We've talked about her. FC Janai easily makes this list as well. Just Everything about her kit is awesome when it comes to giving speed for the same row, reducing attack, having the double team, activating FC Shell. I'm not showing FC Janai here. Here, let me, as I'm talking her up. Well, here's normal Janai. I don't have FC Janai, but amazing character. You can combo her with Jin. You can combo her with Adams. Like, so easily makes the top 10 list. From what I've seen, core teams, especially from the PvP side, are mainly Janai based or they're Bathory based. And then Dorka gets splashed in. Usually on the Janai side more, from what I found, all of them are very good characters. I wanted to touch on Dorka. Dorka easily makes this list too. She's gotten, I would say, significantly better with the Unleashed Potential, being able to apply Bind on her A1. She doesn't need to have a slot for Annie, for example, if you're running Rara, if you want to do that AoE off the start. So she's a fast character. She's not as fast as Rara, but she's one of the fastest characters in the game. I would say doesn't need to have that. She'll have enough mana on turn 1 to be able to do the AoE bind. And then obviously her passive is just so impactful. The only thing that's holding her back is that she doesn't have a fake core, which I think speaks to just how good the character is, that she's so meta even without a fake core, because her stats can't be manipulated with moves. We can't stack her attack. And then she has this passive that requires her to have the highest attack. So when that happens, even if they don't change anything, even if they make her kit like slightly worse or something, but they give you they keep her passive the same, and they give you the option, the capability to increase her stats with moves and typical fake core stuff like fusion, all that. Like, she's gonna be next is FC Tantalo. Already amazing. I think this is a really good pairing of 3. I think looking to pair characters in at least 3 of a faction is going to become more and more important as people get more and more Signature Force upgrades. When you're at 2.1 of a Signature Force, that's when you get 30% bonus. So that's not only going to be the 15% bonus of having 2 characters, but then it's going to have an additional 30% health, attack, and defense on there. And I tested it with my friend's account, and that's such a massive boost that I feel like teams are going to be at least 3 of a faction going forward once more and more people get to that level of Signature Force. So if you start to see teams like that, you're like, oh, I think this character's better. Keep that in mind, that they're at least trying to use 3 of a faction because they want to take advantage of those massive stats boosts you gain from having 3 characters Signature Force 2.1. Tantalo specifically, his passive is just so good that I feel like that alone makes this list. But there's a couple things that I like about him. So Hard Strike, amazing passive, really always have been really good. Shuts down First Guardian characters just in general, really nice to have. But this Overpower decreases critical damage of the target by 300%, and then Sworn Friend grants damage immunity one time when an ally takes critical damage, especially with characters like Rara and Dorka constantly doing AoE moves off the start. That he is an essential part of being able to survive that kind of burst. But there is one thing that I can't test yet because I don't have enough of the Unleashed potential currency, but I really think this guy's going to start to do crazy damage. So first of all, he has this on his block here. When you get the Unleashed potential, he has the 15% damage reduction. So he's not only making your characters significantly tankier. Both of his moves here, this one deals an additional 60% of own defense when the attack hits, and then here deals an additional 45% of own defense when the attack hits. I think he's going to start to hit like a truck. Being able to double dip in all of those different stats like that is going to be, I think it's going to be really good. He already hits pretty hard. Combination of being able to double dip in the stats, then he's going to have the extra stat boost from Signature Force. He's already very good, but I have a feeling he's going to get even better and actually be a threat from a damage perspective. So, okay. And then number 8 on the list, FC Ramj. I think both versions are good, but I like the Dragonblood version of him. It's just the passive's really good. But the main reason why I like Ramj is because he's unique in the sense that he reduces healing. And he's so useful for trials. There's certain missions on trials that need reduced healing, and then he's a good counter for Dorka. It's just a very good character. When it comes to Signature Force, he starts to hit really hard. When you pair him with like Shufraken, he's been a very solid character. This has been a known thing. He has a very unique effect of being able to do the Nullify heal. And as of recently, or I should say as of relatively recently, having Nullify heal is a very impactful move. In the beginning of the game, no one really cared. But as PvE content came out, the Nullify heal is really good. As characters that are meta defining in PvP, such as Dorka, he's gotten significantly better. I wanted to highlight him because I think he's really useful. If you could pull him, he's definitely worth investing in because he's going to go a long way in supporting your account. And then FC Annie, kind of definitely at the end of this list to kind of round it out. I've just, ever since FC Annie came out, I've always found a way to use her. I still use her in PvE content, specifically like trials. I'm always trying to force her way into teams because giving that extra mana to Rara is just such a good pairing. It's something I haven't want to replace. The big difference between an FC Rara that has 3 mana and can actually do her AoE versus a Rara that has to do her A1 off the start is so massive, especially when it comes to these really hard trials matches. So I've been liking that a ton. And ever since she's come out, she has been super meta, probably the best value for a Black Fate core I've seen in the game. So can't go wrong with FC Annie. She's really good. I would say the last part of this list is going to be a combination of characters that all kind of fill the same role, in my opinion. And those characters are going to be Brooke, Diva, Adams, and Jhin. And if you can kind of notice the theme here is that they're single target damage dealers that you splash in to your teams based on the situation. So Brooke and Diva, Order of Chaos, so they'll do a ton of damage on Friday, Saturday. But mainly, these are single target damage dealers that you're going to splash in based on what your signature force is. So if you have Northbound Frosty, you're going to do Brooke. If you have Janice, you could do the rest of the 3. And I think they're all good in their own right based on what you have. Some of them do them better than others based on your situation. They're all kind of versatile in that way. Whereas, some are going to be good in Dragon, some are going to be more suited for PvP. I think those are going to be the most meta defining characters when it comes to that last slot in the top 10. Everyone else, I think there's still a lot of really good characters. Like as I say this list, there's still a ton of good characters. As you can see, like Garf and Rudely didn't even make the cut. Character that I always hype up is Magi, but I think there's more characters coming for a spot now with FC Emma and FC Talia. Chadi, I still get a ton of use out of Chadi. And then people that went for the FC version of Chadi have been using her a ton too. So Rachel didn't make the list, and I think for good reason. Shufrakin didn't make the list. I think they're like kind of top 15 characters nowadays, but still very good. FC Emma didn't make the list, even though I would put her probably right up there. Still a lot of good characters in this game. Schmid, I think Schmid probably needs better support characters before he gets up here. If that reset mechanic didn't get changed, I bet he would probably still be up here. That's my list. Those are my top 10 plus honorable mentions. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, if there's characters I missed, if there's different placements you would put on here. And with that, I'm out. Peace.